and welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for organic debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man, Professor Curt Steele. Hey, I know y'all all tired about what the national media has said about the Lions and them taking a big step back this season. On today's show, we look at reasons why they couldn't be more wrong. We are on our way to 3,000 subscribers and currently sit at 2,961. Shout out to our channel members as they help us continue to grow this content. Let's see who they are. If you don't know, here you go. We got T-Bone Locks, Sean Bird, Lauren Vander Esch, Brent DeWitt, Miss Mary Smith, Big John Martin, and I'm trying to look this up to make sure I say this right because he put it in the comments the other day, and I don't want to mess this up. Let me make sure I find the way to say his name correctly because I surely do not want to mess this up. Let's see here. Let's see. It is. Make sure I'm saying this right. It is Kukayam. Okay, there it is. Kukayam. I found it. Kukayam. Hey, man, that's our new channel member, of course, man. I was calling him Shaka. So, he's like, nah, man, ain't no Shaka. It's Kukayam. So, okay. What I'm saying? Sounds like a good anime name. So, hey, shout out to the channel members, man. Okay. If you want to become a member of the channel, check out the link to become a member and join the members in the description of the video or the homepage of our YouTube channel. Man, and it helps, man. We appreciate you guys doing that for us, man. They're helping support what we do. Now it's time to bring in my co-host for today's show. Of course, man, coming to the stage, man, it's all the ladies and your favorite auntie's favorite Detroit Lions content creator, Big Huggy himself, the chocolate bear from Yaktown, and he don't back down. LL Cool Toys, what's going on, my dude?
What's up, everybody? If your auntie love me so much, tell her fix me a plate.
Yeah, man, he get plenty of plates, man. And it's the hardest working man in Jackson, Michigan, man. Coaching kids, cooking meals, man. Yeah. And he gonna be slinging them whole lives, man, here in a minute when he passed that test. It's the Wolf and Lion who?
I opened the food stand today. Y'all know how it is, man. I told you, man, I just keep a lot of stuff in the bag, man. I just keep pulling them out, man. Something gonna hit. Coach Mike Jones, what's going on, Lion fans?
If you are new to the channel, you don't know how our show works. We look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, and takes. If we agree, we say that our balls up. If we disagree, we say it is balled on and give our reasons why we agree or disagree. Excuse me. But of course, man, it's no hot takes here. It's just true, natural debate and our thoughts and opinions about what's going on with our favorite team, the Detroit Lions. We keep it 100 right here, man. And if you don't know, we keep it in 100. Look at LL's face, man, because it's going to tell you the whole kit and caboodle. That boy couldn't play checkers. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to give away his next move. But that's how we get down here on the show.
I see it.
Yeah, man. He already knows what's going to happen, man. Ooh, man, I got 3 jumps. Nope. I'm not making that move. All right. So, let's look at the national media, man, because they just been doing it wrong. And we're going to end the show with a clip from a media member who's getting it right. But, man, they've been tripping this whole off season, man. And we're going to give our reasons, man. 3 reasons why the national media keeps getting it wrong about the Detroit Lions and us taking a step back. But I'm going to go to LL first, man. He's going to talk about one of the biggest reasons why they keep saying that we're going to take a step back as in the Lions, and that's losing both coordinators, man. What you got, LL?
Well. And this is just as a throwback because a few minutes ago, right before we started, we was talking about, some old days and, Detroit Lions on the prowl. And one of my things I used to say on there was either they don't know, they don't show, or they don't give a fuck about what's going on in Detroit. And of course, that's a line from Doughboy back in the day, but because that's how I felt. And they get it wrong. They just say all types of stuff. I watch mock drafts and they talk about a player that, in the combine, he didn't really look that good. He supposed to put up a better 40 and he didn't lift as much weights and he looked real fat and slow and lazy. He was supposed to go higher, but he wasn't. So I don't really have another place to put him, so I'm gonna give him to the Lions right here, that kind of thing. So, people just would do whatever with the Lions, man. But, over the years, we kind of, shook some of that off. But, it's always somebody waiting to say, just some other stuff like Greeny on ESPN. As soon as the Lions lose a game, Greeny hop out there and say Dan Campbell is a knuckle or a meathead and all the other shit. But then when they win a few in a row, he goes back to being quiet, things like that. People have just gotten it wrong all over the place, like Curt said. But one of the aspects of this is, that what I've been hearing that I'm tired of is the fact that we're losing all these coordinators and coaches and all of this other stuff. One aspect that I would like to give is, they always bring up Philly. Oh, well, Philly this and Philly that and Philly this and Philly that. They don't ever mention that Philly started that season 11-1 or 10-1 or something like that. And they faded down the end of that season, and they end up making the playoffs, but they end up losing in the in the first round and things like that. But they don't mention the fact that they looked okay, and then they collapsed. So it always has to be something, to where they can I guess legitimize whatever negative things they want to say about the Lions. Now it's not a lie that we did lose a lot of people. We lost a lot of important people, I think. And I actually found a list of everybody that we lost. It says we lost 8 total coordinators or assistant coaches or whatever you're going to call it. So we lost Ben Johnson and AG, of course. We lost defensive line coach Terrell Williams. We lost wide receivers coach Antoine Randall. We lost assistant quarterback coach JT Barrett. We lost a tight ends coach Steve Hyden. We lost assistant defensive line coach Cameron Davis and passing game coordinator Tanner Ekstrand. So we did lose a lot, right? But we've already heard things. I've heard mixed things. I've heard kind of early that there was some struggles with the transition to Johnny Moe and all this other stuff. But then we see them against the Dolphins and they putting foots and on necks and stuff like that. So I don't really know. And then you hear the players saying, "Oh, yeah, we lost this and that, but we didn't miss a beat. We didn't skip a beat. We didn't miss a beat. We didn't skip a beat." And that's kind of how I thought I would see it. But one indicator, just as I guess for the people that don't know or people that do know, and they just need a little bit of hope. And I'm gonna say this as a joke, but it's true. And this is one of my favorite players on the roster. One of the players that I really want to see do well, and that's Broderick Martin. So first off, he started. John Scott Jr. was the defensive line coach. I think when he first got here, he was gone the next season. I'm not gonna say anything negative about John Scott Jr., but I don't think he did that great. Or so we kept him around. Then we got Terrell Williams, and people like myself were saying, "Oh, Terrell Williams is going to be the one to unlock Big Broderick, man. He's the best defensive line coach in the league." Everybody's saying it, right? Everybody was saying that. People who don't even know who Broderick Martin is were saying that about Terrell Williams. And Broderick Martin looked like he did last year. He had more healthy scratches than he did the year before. So was that the coaching or whatever it was? I don't know. He probably wasn't playing that well, right? Probably wasn't showing them enough, right? But this season, we got Casey Rogers coming over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another highly touted defensive line coach. And we're seeing, just a little bit out of that. So as some of the old people say, get a little juice out that squeeze. You know what I'm saying? Now you're starting to get some out of him. And it took, whatever it took, rather just be him being here, being in the NFL for a while, getting hit the weights for a while, getting eat better, whatever it is. It's all clicking once we got, or it's clicking with, or it's starting to click with Casey Rogers. So shout out to Casey Rogers, man. Shout out to the newer, coaches that we have coming in to replace those coaches that we lost. And it's just, I feel like, and more so, I feel like it's just, what's the word? Low hanging fruit. It's just something to hang their pen on. This they want to say something negative, so it's they lost the coaches, and they lost this and they lost that. Not knowing that Dan Campbell is still here. Dan Campbell still got is in control of that flame, as I usually like to use that reference. He keeping that pit going, and all we got to do is keep rolling from there. So, I personally don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal. I think that we heard and seen enough to say that it's not going to be that big of a deal, but I guess that hasn't reached the mainstream media yet. So, how do you guys feel about that? Was losing the coordinators that big a deal, or are we just going to keep on rolling?
Yeah, they pissing me off with that crap. Yeah, you get a boss up on your take, man. I'm just gonna add a little bit of sauce to it. You know what I'm saying? Like put a little something on there. And I get why folks will be worried about losing both coordinators. But look at Philly the last couple of years, and you brought up Philly, right? Even before last year, they lost both their coordinators and won the Super Bowl.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and both of these guys have been on the Dan Campbell staff. Of course, Shep has been here since day one, and Johnny Moe was here, and then he left, and now he's back. but it's not like he's like haven't coached before. Johnny Morton has been a offensive coordinator, in the league. So it's not like he's like just learning how to coach. So why would, and he helped install the offense that the Lions are currently running. So to say that they lost both coordinators and this is going to be so much of a downshift in the Lions and they're going to take a step back, man. I said, and like the players say, I don't think it's going to be much difference because they aren't going to change a lot. I mean, it's going to be some tweaks here and there, and they're going to run their style of what the system is. But they both know what Dan Campbell wants because Dan Campbell wants what he wants. He's still the head coach. His expectations aren't going to change. His standards aren't going to change just because he has two new coordinators, man. And I think that this is a lazy take, man, especially now that it's basically the same roster coming back. And it's a better roster because it's healthy. Because you look at all the players, what was like 12 players from the defense that was on IR last year at one point or another. And now you're saying that they're going to take a step back when they're getting all these guys back. And it's not like Shep and Sean Deion Hamilton weren't on they kept the defensive side of the ball kept most of their coaches and and this promoted from within. So, because most of the guys you named, LL, were on the offensive side of the ball, one the defense, but you still got Hank Fraley, and you still got Brunell, and you still got a lot of those guys that were on the staff. So, I don't know, man. I think it's just a lazy take, man. It was like they did like, ooh, let's just poke holes in this because they get lost. Dan Campbell's still the head coach. Yeah, I'm just saying. What you got, Coach Jones?
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a boss up, and that's just a lazy ass narrative. That's a lazy take. That's like the easy way out. Because if the Detroit Lions have on defensive side of the ball, we promoted in house, and Aaron Glenn did a very good job of kind of walking Shep along and giving him increased responsibilities as it got toward the end of the year. So we actually are probably going to see better linebacker play from the linebackers this year. And everybody knows if you got better linebacker play, your defense is going to be better. Just is how it is. But the health, that's the key thing is the health. So I just don't see where the defense takes a step back. I just don't. I'm not seeing it at all. The linebackers dominating in the defense that's going to be the key to the defense. That's the key to any defense really dominating is your linebackers, man, and your D-line. And then you want to go to the offensive side. Well, actually, one last thing about the D-line is I seen something yesterday. I don't know how true it is, but Broderick Martin was rated the fourth highest defensive tackle in pass rush in the NFL. Not on the Lions, okay, in the NFL. So, yeah, whatever, Curt, you ready? You know what it is. You see that Big Broderick out there flexing on him, man, while you try to give him, your ball on or donkey of the day player. You know what I'm saying? Big Broderick out there doing this thing, man. And then the offensive side of the ball, Johnny Mo is going to do something that we all wish that Ben Johnson would have did, and that's run the ball a little bit more, right? Not get too caught up with the crazy plays, to just dominate because on paper our skill is way advanced past any defense that we play. Like we got way too many weapons on the field, and we don't have to do all the extra crazy gadgety things to move the ball. All we got to do is just do what we do, move the rock. You know what I'm saying? So I think that them being on the outside looking in, those coordinators know what the Lions need to go to the next level, and they're going to apply that, man. And like you said, man, Philly lost both coordinators and won the Super Bowl. So what do you think we're going to do?
Yeah, and the one thing I think to talk about the roster, one thing that did get better is the depth in the secondary. Like you look at the guys that we brought in, in the secondary, the depth players, it's a hell of a lot better than it was last year. And we bringing in a lot of, guys who, who are now depth players who were starters in the league. So looking at Yasin and, of course, Avante Maddox and those guys, man, our backup depth is a lot better than it was last year. Yeah. But we're going to take a step back. Anywho, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us get this content out to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself, man. Hey, the Boss Up Ball Out merch shop is now available, man. Check out the link in the description of this video and put in the code Boss Up Ball Out 10 to get 10% off one item when you spend $45 or more. Our channel members, here's one of your perks, man. In addition to like the special emojis and the members only content, you guys get 15% off your order. So check the community tab for the link for the discount code or just for the code itself, man. So go check it out. Hey, man, we're gonna bring y'all some good merch in that merch shop, man. But now it's time for my man, Coach Jones, man. Another lazy narrative, I think, again. And it's all about the Lions schedule, man. They talking about, they got a tough schedule.
I mean, you know what? I will give them a little bit of leeway here because the Lions do have the toughest road schedule I think I've ever seen in the NFL. I don't think I've ever seen a road schedule this brutal. So I do kind of understand the narrative, but there's always somebody want to jump on that Detroit going down bandwagon. That's why I don't buy it. But if you look at the games, you look at the road games, I'm just going to speak specifically on the road games. We start off on the road week 1. We end on the road week 18. That in itself, man, is So we start off in Lambeau. Who knows how that's gonna go? We personally, FTP over here all day. So you know what I'm thinking. Okay,
it's gonna be a whole lot of blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be a whole lot of blue stuff in that crowd. Because we take over everywhere. If you didn't know, now you know. Then we go on week 3. We in Baltimore. That's never an easy place to play. Never. I don't think we've won in Baltimore, and I don't think we've ever won in Baltimore. Really, honestly, if you really want to get real, I Curt can look it up. I just don't recall the Lions victory in Baltimore. So then week 5 we in Cincinnati, and man, that's the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins show. So and reports for campus, they looking on point, man. They ready. They playing in preseason games. They getting they're like, we're not gonna come off with this rush that we usually have. So in the first month, we go to Lambeau, we go to Baltimore, we go to Cincinnati, and then the next week we go to Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? So I can see why people might be like, ooh, we might take a step back record-wise, but we're not going to take a step back in the strength of the team and how good the team is. We are not going to take a step back in that. That is a lazy narrative. That is just saying that's basically a naysayer of the Lions getting their opportunity and seeing a little bit of something, and then they want to jump on it. You know what I'm saying? Not really realizing that good teams have good schedules and they still persevere. But, now if you want to look at one little hiccup that, the Lions might have in their schedule, it could be week 10 and 11, the back-to-back road games at Washington and Philadelphia. Because that's right there in the where you jockeying for playoff position. When you're starting to, separate yourself. And then we back to to them road games, man. It's like, so, and then I'm hearing reports is that the NFC East is a lot stronger than it was last year. So, it is what it is, man. Like I said, people are finding a reason to be down on the Lions, and they jump on it. They jump on every narrative they can to be down on the Lions. And I don't know why it is, because other teams, they have narratives where it's like, oh, but they'll still do good because of this. Like, they'll still do good because they got Dan Campbell, or they'll still be good because they got David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs, Amon St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporte. Nobody say none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they still got a top 3, a top 4, a top 5 offensive line. Nobody says any of that, right? It's just all on the narratives of the coordinators. So then you go down, you look at the schedule again, man. Yeah, we got the Rams, you know, and then you know what? I'll even throw you a little bit of another bone out there for you analysts or negative analysts. Week 17 and 18 is on the road. You know what I'm saying? Against divisional opponents, right? So, you know, I can see why people say, you know, they're gonna take a step. And you know what? I do have the Lions at probably a 12-5 record, which is a step back, but going 15-2 on something you can sustain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you go 15-2, you don't be like, oh, we're gonna go 16-1 next year. No, you don't do that, man. You don't. So you know, that week 17 and 18 on the road against division opponents, that's tough. But like I said, man, great teams play tough schedules and they still dominate. And I still see us going 12-5 and winning the division. And that just is what it is. And that's the bottom line, because Coach Jones said so. Go Mountains.
Yeah. What? Yeah. I have to say again, man, like, the Lions had a tough schedule last season, man. They play when you're the first place team, you play a first place schedule. And they had a first place schedule last year. Now, was it as tough as the one this year? No, I can't say that. But like I said before, they have the same squad. Actually, they have a better squad because they're healthier. And I don't see a team that the Lions are scared of on the schedule. They ain't scared of none of these cats. They are not scared. They played the Chiefs a couple years ago on ring night and beat them in Kansas City. Now, you know, they had some people missing, but so do we. Yeah, it is what it is, right? And getting back players like Aiden Hutchinson, and we're gonna update the injuries at the end of the show. But the guys that we're losing guys, but we're getting guys back too. And we'll talk about that. The players are coming off list and coming back to practice. We're gonna be pretty healthy coming into the season. But to say that the Lions are going to take a step back because they have a first place schedule, they played a first place schedule last season, and I don't see them being. The Lions aren't scared of anybody. They're going to punch you in the mouth, man. And I think that they're going to go on the road. The Lions were the only team last season that were undefeated on the road. Both losses were home losses.
Very good point.
They ain't scared of nobody anywhere. Like Dan Campbell said, we'll play in the parking lot, we'll play in the landfill. It don't matter, man. We'll play you anywhere. And when you play the Lions, you know you're going to play a really tough game. So, all right, what you got, LL, on the tough schedule? And I'll give you a boss up, my man, on that. I get what you're saying, but, yeah. Thanks, Curt.
I give you a big boss up for a lot of those things that Curt said as well. And that's, damn, I forgot what I was going to say. You had a good one. I had a good joke to spin off of it. But, no, man, it's, laziness. Y'all nailed it all. One good thing. That's what I was going to say. Years ago, it was a big joke about people was going to raid Area 51. And they'd be like, when you run in there or whatever, they going in there, whatever it is. And they're going to be like, the aliens got to understand they in here with me. So that's the thing. Like, we going over there, we doing all this other stuff. They got to understand they going to be playing us. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's you hear, even though that's stuff, that's what they say at home and all that stuff. That's, you heard Panay say, Panay Sewell, lock the gate. So when y'all locked in here with us. So, yeah, you at home, but you still got a monster in your room. You know what I'm saying? You still got to deal with this. You got to deal with us. So whatever you got going on, you still gonna have to do that. But and one thing I want to say, just to keep it short, because I know you didn't mean everybody, but I will show some credit because people like me at times, like it's people out there with a little bit of good sense that say things like, "Oh, losing coordinators because they didn't change anything." She was the first one, and I think I put that in the chat. She was the first one that actually heard her say that they lost coordinators, but they're not changing anything. So same thing with this. He was the first one to, just hear that, they were undefeated on the road. They actually played well on the road. And this is a team that you're going to have to worry about. So, yeah, man, schedules can get tough, but the Lions is just as tough, right?
Yeah, for real, for real. Hey, man, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All these things help us get this content out to more Detroit Lions fans like yourself, man. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, man. It's free. It's free. If you need more free, it's free 99 and 50 free cent. So go ahead and hit that notification bell so you know when you're getting that fresh content from us right here on the Boss of Ball Out podcast, which is sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink, packed with brain boosting amino acids, vitamins, and no sugar. Important for your boy Curt Still, who's a type 2. It gets you pumped for tackling your daily tasks. Costs you about $1 a drink. It's a great alternative to coffee or canned beverages with no crashes or jitters. Check out the video description for the link to buy Dubby and use that code BOSSOUTBALLOUTPOD for 10% off your order. Power your day with Dubby. All right, let's get back into this content, man. And here's Curt's reason on why I think the Lions, the media is getting it wrong about the Detroit Lions. And it's about the narrative that the competition in the North is just so much tougher than it was last season. I ain't really buying that narrative. I'm just going to be honest with you, right? So the NFC North was one of the best divisions in the NFL last year, sending 3 teams to the postseason. But there's no reason for me to believe that the Lions won't win the division for the 3rd year in a row. Let's look at the Minnesota Vikings, man. They added some pieces on the defensive line, but their secondary is still lacking talent on the outside. Harrison Smith, he's a good safety, but he's not that all-pro he used to be.
Yo.
On offense, man, they have plenty of weapons, but they essentially have a rookie starting quarterback. Now, as a Wolverine fan, I love J.J. McCarthy. That's my guy at Michigan. However, he has not faced a credible NFL defense. And people keep talking about, he's making these throws in camp. He's playing against his defense is very vanilla. And to be honest with you, the Vikings secondary was trash last year. I mean, they play that umbrella scheme, and you can find holes in that zone all day. Jared Goff been killing the Vikings the last few years. He knows how to play the Vikings because they blitz a guy and leave holes open in the zone, because wherever the guy is coming from, it's going to be a hole right there in the zone. So
hot route.
And it's they haven't had a great secondary the last couple of years, man. It just haven't happened, right? And I think there's going to be some growing pains on the offense, man, because you look at the system that J.J. McCarthy ran in Michigan. It was that run-first system. And we know he wasn't the greatest passer of the ball at Michigan. He made some solid throws, but he wasn't like you're gonna run a spread offense and you're gonna have him throw the ball 50 million times a game. He just didn't do that at Michigan. They were a run first team, and they used some play action, and he made some decent throws, but it wasn't on his arm for him to be the winner at Michigan. Green Bay. I think Jordan Love is a good quarterback, but he's got that Brett Favre syndrome. What that is, he trusts his arm way too much sometimes, and he tries to make some throws that he should not. Be back there trying to move around, and he's trying to just flick the ball down the field and interception here, interception there, and another thing that's going on in Green Bay, their offensive line sucks, and they didn't upgrade it this offseason. And he will continue to face pressure in the pocket in 2025. But that's not their biggest issue. The biggest issue for Green Bay is on the defensive side of the ball. What is it? Their secondary, their cornerbacks, to say the least. Because I can't give it Xavier McKinney's a good safety, but those outside corners are trash. And the bulk of their cornerbacks are on their roster because, they lost their best corner to free agency, right? So the bulk of their cornerbacks on their secondary are either first or second year players. And Amon-Ra St. Brown will continue to carve up the pack. Man, I don't think I've seen a game where Amon-Ra St. Brown hasn't killed the Packers, man. That dude, he absolutely slices them up. He gets in all of their zones and does his thing. So I don't see where the Packers are scaring me in the division. But here's the last one because everyone's saying this team. Ooh, Chicago. The Bears are back. We got Ben Johnson. Please stop that. Because guess what? The Bears have a brand new coaching staff. And they're running brand new schemes on both sides of the ball. And I'm not, we beat the Bills down. They held them scoreless in preseason. Bruh, y'all are playing y'all starters. They're playing the dudes that probably ain't even going to be on the roster in that game. And I'm not even convinced that Caleb Williams will be able to run Ben Johnson's complex scheme at the start of the season. You look at how long it kind of took JG to get control of this offense. Took him a couple of years to get where he is. Because you got to look at it. You got to be able to call the protections. You got to be able to read the defense. And I don't think that Caleb Williams is able to. He's never been asked. He never ran a scheme like this. You look back at his college days at USC and at Oklahoma. What did he run? He ran a spread offense. He even ran a spread offense in Chicago last year. He did a whole bunch of under the center. What does Ben Johnson put the quarterback? Under the center. Because it's predicated on the run game and play action. I just don't see him being able to run that scheme that well that soon. I just don't see it. So the competition in the North getting tougher. The Lions are the competition that's gotten tougher because we're healthier. We're the team who has the most uptick in talent on our roster because we had the guys already there. We just brought them back from injury. So the competition getting tougher. I'm not buying it. For me, the Lions are still the kings of the NFC North and are deeper than any other team in the division. That's right. Damn it. I said it. And I'm not buying that the competition is tougher because the competition that's tougher is the Lions. So what do you guys think about the competition being tougher narrative about why the Lions will take a step back? I'm going to hit you up first there, Coach.
You know what? And again, I can see why people say what they say because the NFC North has gotten better, I believe, than it was. Like the records might not reflect it as in, per se, like 15-2 Lions, 14-3 Vikings. I think the Vikings going to be a basement of the division this year, actually, if you just ask me. But you know what? So you look at stuff like the Packers schedule. You know what? And the NFL always favors Green Bay. Like, we know that. We all know that. You know how we know it? Because they're on the TV every damn week. And look at things like the schedule. Why they got the Commanders at home? Why they got the Bengals at home? Why they got the Eagles at home? You know what I'm saying? Why they got the Ravens at home? We got to go on the road for all them games. You know what I'm saying? Why they got them at home? Because they need the help. They need it. Because, Lord forbid, the NFL darling Green Bay Packers have a tough schedule and got to go on the road for some tough games. They sissified. The NFL is babying the Green Bay Packers. All the tough teams that we got on the road, they got at home. Come on, man. They sissies. You want to go on to the Vikings, man, because that's the problem with Green Bay. They get hit hard, and then they tuck their tails, and they run because they don't want that. You go on to the Vikings, man. I think the Vikings will regress not just because of J.J. McCarthy. I think his struggles will be, his struggles of learning the offense will be, there, but it's because they're going to be missing certain pieces and key pieces start the season like Jordan Addison. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be critical.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that's going to be real critical.
Man, the thug that he the Jameson Williams of the Vikings. Let them tell it.
yeah, man. I don't know about all that, but you know what, man? Yeah, man. Then too, the third thing is, man, the Bears got to grow up. The Bears will grow up with Ben Johnson when he grows up. And he ain't gonna grow up that quick because he's still trying to do all that cutesy stuff here in Detroit. And you know what I'm saying? When we didn't really need to do all of that, he tried to do it all. So they got to go through the growing pains with him. The Vikings gonna go through their hiccups, and the Packers is just punks. They sissified. So when you look at it, we the only team with those weapons who's sharp and who want to bring it to you, man. And with that attitude in the game of football, you ain't got no choice but to be the kings of the North, the kings of the NFC, and the eventual 2025-26 Super Bowl champions. I'm just saying.
Okay. What you got, LL, on the competition in the North?
Yeah, I give you a big false up for all of that, Coach Mike. And yeah, because it's again another thing when it's almost like they don't know what else happened in the division. They just know that Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn left. They don't mention that, they don't realize or they don't emphasize enough that JJ McCarthy is a rookie starter. You know what I'm saying? The Chicago Bears has a whole new coaching staff, like Curt said. And the Packers, they have quarterback issues. I don't really give one care about what people say about Jordan Love. I feel like we've seen enough. I feel like we know what kind of quarterback, what kind of player that he is. And for whatever reason, these experts, again, that everybody likes to bring up when they say, the experts think that Jared Goff did this. The experts think that Jared Goff is that. You know what else the experts are saying? That Jordan Love is an MVP candidate and that he will lead the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl. They're going to be in the NFC Championship game. And I don't think any of us agree with that because we've already seen what kind of quarterback that he is. He not to follow the narrative, to follow the narrative that Coach Mike said, and this ain't nothing against light-skinned people because light-skinned people ain't soft. I know I have light-skinned people ain't soft. But they have a soft, light-skinned quarterback with the little twilly hairs and the ugly little stupid goatee. He let him get his hair cut out in Green Bay. And that's a joke for people that if you get there, he let him get his hair cut out there. So ain't nobody worried about that, man. They got some good players over there, but he's right. He's the one that's gonna be the one. And he's shown what he is. He's he already talking about, I got to use my legs more. I got to do this. You got to do that. Yeah, you might want to use your legs because your arm ain't that good. You like to throw the ball to us or to other teams, so you know how it goes. But and even with that, they had decent records on other stuff. Other teams in this division has had decent records. Like last year with Minnesota, they got swept by us. You know what I'm saying? So however it goes, you still gotta. They with the same sentiment that I had last topic, but I'm gonna bring it to this one. Yeah, that we all in the North, but they in the North with us. So yeah, they gonna have to do whatever it is to try to beat us. We ain't necessarily gotta. I mean, we need to worry about everybody on the schedule, but it ain't a thing of, is Green Bay gonna overtake the division? We just got to keep doing what we keep doing, and they got to worry about how to overtake us. So, great, good topic, Coach Mike on that.
One quick thing.
Curt on that. Sorry.
One quick thing. I want to say that I think Caleb Williams and Jordan Love had sleepovers, painting each other's fingernails and drinking tea. I'm just saying.
And that's let me say one quick thing about Caleb Williams. I really hope that Chicago and Caleb Williams is everything that they say they are. I think Caleb Williams is going to be pretty good. I think Ben Johnson is going to be good for him, and I hope that they are everything that y'all are. That the people out there are saying that they going to be. So when they do play us and we do still beat them, you have to start saying some of those things about the Lions after that.
Yeah. What about this? What about that? We don't hear all that noise, man. All right. So real quick, man, let's give some training camp updates, man, about some injuries. And of course, man, guys still on the injury list. We got Miles Frazier still on the PUP, and Lee McNeil on the PUP, NFI for Josh Pascal, and the PUP for Malcolm Rodriguez, man. And then, of course, who got activated from PUP? Mekhi Wingo returned to practice yesterday, man. So that's what's up. And then you had guys who were out of practice on Tuesday. Yesterday, Malik Taylor, undisclosed. Christian Cologne, he's still out with that. The backup center still out with that elbow injury. Nose tackle Broderick Martin, he left practice early on Monday and was out yesterday. We all know that the pec issue with Amin Hassanin, he avoided surgery, but most likely will be out for an extended period. And Kirby Joseph is still dealing with that knee irritation, so he's still out for the foreseeable future. I think Coach Campbell said he will be back, trying to get him back next week when they actually start getting ready prepare for the regular season. But who else returned to practice, man? We had a few guys coming back. Tim Patrick has been back at practice. Sam Laporta returned to practice. Khalil Dorsey is back at practice off the PUP list. And safety, and I'm so glad to report this, man. Maurice Norris returned to practice in a limited capacity.
Wow.
So I'm so happy that is the case, man. He's still in concussion protocol, but he returned to practice in a limited capacity. So I'm so happy to report that he is back, man. Love to hear that the young player is back in the building, man. So shout out to him, man. All right. Hey, like the video, share the video, comment, man, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when you're getting that fresh content from us right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your home for a gang debate about Detroit Lions news and rumors. Hey, you know what today is. It's hump day, baby. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms. Coach Jones does a great job over there on Wolverine Sports Talk, and he does some great shorts over here on this channel. And check out his Beyond the Rose boxing playlist, man. I went check out that Canelo and Crawford video. Man, he got some juicy tidbits over there, man. Of course, I post content from this channel on all of my social media platforms. And it's hump day. It's Thursday Eve. So make sure you go check out LL's Instagram page for those tasty morsels and, you know what I'm saying, thirst quenching thirst traps over there on LL's Instagram page on Thursday, man. Now it's time for final shots for today's show, product shots. LL, you up first, man. What you got for the people on this hump day?
Put your money on the Packers if that's what y'all think. That's what I got to say. The Bears too, I don't really care. The Vikings too, whatever, man. Do whatever you gotta do, say however you gotta say it. Just when it's all said and done, just give props when it's due. Which they don't do anyway. But they always find some kind of excuse. Greeny. But shout out to y'all. Happy Wednesday. Shout out to the new member. I don't know how to say that name, but thank you for joining up. Thank you for the old members. Thank y'all for everybody who tunes in. Have a great Wednesday. All
right. What you got, Coach Jones?
I'm not going to be on LL's page on Thursday because my wife's going to play that. But you know what? Man, just stay tuned in, stay locked in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We bring you this content every day, man. And when we not doing shows, man, we'll throw some shorts out there because we know some people's attention span is a little bit shorter. They don't really want to sit through whole shows, just want to get topics. So we hit you with some shorts, man. And this the new season, man. I'm ready, man. This championship season, boy. I got to get me a ring or something.
All right, man. Hey, for me on this Wild Out Wednesday or this hump day, guess what day it is? Hey, make sure you're having a good day at work, man. It could be hard to have a good day on a Wednesday because it's middle of the week. The grind is getting to you. But if you're having a good day, make sure you spread that joy. If you're not having a good day, because sometimes that happens, man, don't steal someone else's joy. And, of course, with the boy Curt Steele, whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up. Ball out and be the best version of you that you can be. From a fellas, LL Cool Torrance and Coach Mike Jones. This is Curt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.
Well, listen, I'm about the Detroit Lions. I'm wondering why we sleeping on them like we took a melatonin, rubbed ourselves in lavender, and drank chamomile tea. The Detroit Lions are a team that is poised to be right back where they were last year, which is the #1 overall seed in the NFC. We're talking about two running backs that can absolutely get it done. Jared Goff, who they told me this week is everything to this team, and Dan Campbell, who I watched at practice be precise, be intense, and have a sense of urgency of a team that feels like they've underachieved 2 years in a row. And Kelvin Shepard told me that taking over for Aaron Glenn on the defensive side of the ball, he is coming after people. Not to mention, he has 12 dudes who were on the IR last year in the playoffs, also lost Amik Robinson in the first half playing against the Washington Commanders. They back.